Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We have two very special guests here in the studio. We've got a great show coming up. But first, let's take a look at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. Today's high, 81, low, 65. This is the kind of weather we like to talk about. Really nice. It's going to be the water temperature now. Get this, we've been a week and a half. It's been right at 70 degrees. This morning reading is 72 degrees. I told you I was going to bump up, and sure enough, so those pompano and all, they're going to really be fired up coming through. So if you get a chance to do some pompano fishing, you need to jump on it. Surf fishing is going to be good next couple of days, I promise you. Okay, the river reading brought to us by Panama City, Coca-Cola. Good folks down there. Take a look at the Apalachicola at Bluntstown. It's reading this morning up right at 18 and a half feet. It is high. The big river is high. Over on the Choctawhatchee River, the reading at Ebro this morning reads 11.1 there. Both rivers, well, the Apalachicola is staying up, and the Choctaw is going down a little bit. So we'll have a little bit of a good fishing report tomorrow, hopefully, if it gets on going down. Tide chart brought to us by Kent and Forest Lawn. Today's the 17th of April. We're looking at strong tides today and tomorrow. The low tide is going to be at 4:05 this morning, and the high tide coming in at about 5:15 this afternoon. Wind's going to die down a little bit, but it's still in double figures as it has been for a couple of weeks. Coming in out of the southeast at about 11. That's the prevailing wind this time of year. Let's take a break and come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, folks. We have really two special guests, and I've got to know them a little bit. I want to let them introduce themselves to you and tell a little bit about themselves. They're just really great. This is Travis on the end and Martha here. So, Martha, you go first.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Martha Gaius. I work for the American Sport Fishing Association. I'm based over in Tallahassee. And what our association does, we represent fishing manufacturers, retailers, all the people in the recreational fishing business, the sport fishing business. Sometimes that's charter captains, conservation organizations. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And I met Martha over in Tallahassee a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, I went over to Tallahassee advocating some outdoor education, and she was in one of the meetings. You think we hit it off? Man, and I said, well, you got to come be on the show. Here, drove down from Tallahassee, so thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Travis, your turn.
Yes, sir. I'm from Winter Haven, Florida, Polk County, Florida, down the middle of the state. And I'm the executive director of All Florida, which is a conservation organization. We work on woods, water, wildlife, and way of life. So fishing, hunting, agriculture, ranching, etc. My organization is a member of ASA, so we're a conservation organization membership. And then I also run a pretty big duck hunting operation in South Florida. So love to be outdoors, hunting, fishing, whatever it can be.
Real quick, he said from Winter Haven, my best friend from college from Winter Haven, what's the chance of him knowing? He knows them well. You knew the Walker family.
Knew them very well.
Your family goes back to Central Florida to the 1890s, the old Florida Cracker family.
Yes,
I guess.
sir.
And we've hit it off, both of these folks. You know how we talk about conservation here on Panhandle Outdoors and taking care of our resources. And here's two strong advocates. What brings y'all to Panhandle Outdoors?
Well, we came to talk about the right to fish and hunt. So this...
All right, time out. You mean, actually, we're having a talk about it on a TV show, the right to fish and hunt in America. Okay, so go ahead.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So last year, the Florida legislature, they approved a referendum to make an amendment to Florida's Constitution to enshrine the right to fish and hunt, to put that in there. So that is coming around this year, and it'll be on the ballot in November.
In November.
So voters can vote on that. Mm-hmm.
Now I'll go ahead and make this disclaimer. I promise you 100% of our viewers will vote in favor of it. But our job as viewers is to get all those other people who don't know about it to vote in favor of it. But we need to be educated on it, okay? And that's a big thing to do. So I know you're in Tallahassee. Folks, Tallahassee is the hub of what's going on. I mean, so many things behind the scenes, as you well know. And most of it's good stuff, but this is good. So tell us what we need to do.
Well, I think what we need to do is make sure all of our friends and family know how important this is, because like you said, it's not the folks watching Panhandle Outdoors that we're worried about.
Yeah.
It's your cousin that doesn't fish or hunt. It's your neighbor that doesn't fish or hunt. And something we talk a lot about, and Martha could get into the fishing side, but sportsmen, hunters and fishermen were responsible for most of the boat ramps. Whether you hunt or fish, if you're going out pontoon boating or anything else, a lot of that funding for boat ramps comes through hunting and fishing dollars. The lands, we talk about the Florida Wildlife Corridor and conservation beyond just where we can hunt and fish. Almost 20% of the Florida Wildlife Corridor was acquired with sportsman's dollars. So it's a really important thing, whether you're a hunter or angler or not. Talk about the economic value.
Yeah, I mean, so especially here in Florida. Florida's the fishing capital of the world, right?
Yes.
And so it makes sense that we would have something like this, a right to fish and hunt. It is part of our culture. It's a big part of our economy. Just the fishing side of it is about a $14 billion economic impact, more than 120,000 jobs just in our state. And so that part of it is so important. And for all the things that you've done here in Bay County, getting youth involved, helping them understand the value of conservation, getting those skills, being outdoors, that's it's so important to having that connection with nature, and just learning all those skills, builds confidence in young people.
Yes.
And instilling all those values early, ensures that they're going to be, fishing and hunting for their lifetime. So.
Yes, and I feel like we're doing a good job here in the Panhandle, because all the pictures we get about the kids doing this and that, as you know, every day and all. And again, we have to spread the word. But for us to be at this point in time in our nation to enshrine the right to fish and hunt, it speaks how important it is in this timing to take care of this and have it done. And are the other states have done this, or?
Yes, sir. So 23 other states have this.
Okay.
Or I think Florida would be the 23rd. So
Okay.
22 other. But ironically, Vermont did it in 1777. They foresaw that this might be a problem one day, and went ahead and enshrined it in their constitution 200 years ago. And now here we are. So since the 90s, we've seen 22 states do it. There's a couple of states that only have a right to fish. They don't have a right to fish and hunt. But 22 states have a right to fish and hunt. And I think that's a thing that you'll see moving forward. A group that we've worked with, some International Order of T. Roosevelt,
Yes.
they've set a goal to try to get this done in 35 different states around the country. So they think there's 35 that are achievable soon,
Okay.
and then tackle the rest.
Oh, cool. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Martha and Travis. Okay, welcome back. Glad to have you all this morning. Our guest all the way from Tallahassee, Martha Guyas, came over this morning, and up from Winter Haven. I know you've been here a day or two to sort of get acclimated to it, so glad to have Travis Thompson. So we're glad this is important stuff that we're talking about conservation and all. But we've got a couple of pictures. Let's start with this. Tell us about this. Is actually your group right here, Martha, right? This since 1933.
Yeah, can you believe it? Yes, our organization has been around since 1933. I guess we're at 91 years now because it's 2024.
Yeah. Embracing our future. I like that, because those are the challenges we have. So, and y'all also put on the iCast, and we're going to talk about that later.
We do.
We're going to. That's cool. All right, so we just sent some random pictures of just how we enjoy fishing and all. So, okay, so here we go. Look at the joy on that face.
Yeah.
All right, we got some here. Now, I was just telling Travis that these are some professional photographs, because we don't take them quite this clear, but isn't that cool right there, the contrast of the water and releasing that redfish?
I can tell you where that is too,
Where?
but I'm not allowed. Somebody come after me if I told you where that was.
Okay, so it's up here somewhere?
It was in the Big Bend area.
Okay,
yes,
in the Big Bend area. Okay, I know where it was. And fly fishing. This is saltwater fly fishing is a big deal. We do a lot of fly fishing around here. Freshwater fly fishing is good, and of course y'all promote all of this. And tell us about this one.
That was actually a family that came and fished with me. I ran a fishing charter for them, and we were snook fishing on the beach down in Southwest Florida. And
It's beautiful.
I love that picture, because What you can't see is they're loaded up on ladyfish right now, just having a blast. They are, every ladyfish that hit it, they jump off, and another one would hit it. And the snook were having trouble beating the ladyfish to the baits and the bluefish to the baits, but man, they had a blast. Those kids wore slap out when we got done.
And we call that a poor man's tarpon, right?
That's right.
This is a great picture.
Oh, that is a great picture.
That's on the Swanee.
I was going to guess it. Well,
That's on the Swanee.
There's so many sturgeon on that river too. What a beautiful, beautiful river. Okay.
This is a women's camp that we did last year. They're out snipe hunting.
Oh, cool.
So we obviously, out of state, anytime people come in and you talk about snipe, they think you're joking, but in state, Florida shoots more snipe than any other state in the country.
Okay, that's a fact I didn't know.
So we had a lot of women come in last year and we did a camp for them, and they came from all over the United States, and we took them out hog hunting, duck hunting, alligator hunting, and snipe hunting.
Whoa.
Gave them the Florida
We
experience.
need to get information on that because I know
Sounds
some of
like
you
fun.
ladies want to run down there and do that. We have a couple of ladies fishing clubs up here. So
Oh, really?
we do, yeah, they're good. I'll touch base with y'all on the information. Okay, what about? I love this picture.
This is just after a hunt one day, and we were here talking about the right to fish and hunt, and this is the stuff that really matters. You don't see us showing big piles of fish or big piles of ducks or not that we're against any of that, but this is the stuff that matters. Being able to be out there with your friends and family, and
That's funny. The tailgate special. Okay, and in fact, for the last 15 or 20 years, I plan to write a book of memoir. I'm gonna call it Tailgate Stories. And of course, with all my spare time, I'm gonna try to get that done. But anyway, tailgate stories are something special.
I love that.
Okay, I love this picture.
yeah, this is a father and a son. The gentleman's name's Tyler Pike. He was a baseball pitcher from Winter Haven. Got drafted and played the minor leagues for a while. And that's his little boy Stetson on his first hunt. And actually, Stetson came back the next year and shot his first duck ever with us.
Oh, cool.
And so we've got a cool little story about that we're going to release on video soon, that it just kind of follows his journey of why, again, it's about the wild places and the special stuff in Florida, the water, the woods,
Yeah.
the wild, like the stuff that matters
Yeah.
to us.
Now, can you tell how I love these guests? All the things they're saying, we say it every day, and they
That's right.
say it every day. They live y'all live it, and we don't just talk about it. Okay, I love it. Look at this one. Tell us about this dog.
That dog's name, you could guess it probably is Buford, because that's a great dog name for that kind of old shaggy looking. I think that's I'll call it a German Wirehair, but I think that's actually a Dutch Drawhard, and those guys get testy about it. But we had a little pond there that held a bunch of model ducks, and we took some new hunters. We actually had guys come from around the world for that camp. They were all new hunters.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And we had a young man come from, I forget the country he came from, but he'd never shot a gun before. And so he went out and he shot his first duck right there that morning.
How cool is that? Okay, on the fishing, this is not any panhandle fish, I don't think.
No, those are, you don't get those up here.
Yeah.
That's a father-son team, and they doubled up on that, and the son was so happy because his fish was much bigger than his dad's.
He has proof of it.
But again, that's the memories, right? Like
Exactly
that's-
right. Okay. Look
And
at the
there's
smile.
Stetson with his first duck. I
my
forgot I
gosh.
put that in there.
Look at a big old smile on his
So
face.
cute.
That's the stuff we fight to protect every day, whether it's a duck, a fish, a mom, a dad, whatever. Like that's the stuff that we care
And
about.
you're a photographer. Look at the bottom of the picture. The water splashing. He's not worried about the water. He's splashing through it. She captured the photographer.
His
captured
name
it.
is Michael Martin, MTM Photo on Instagram, and he's incredible.
I
He's
can
next
tell.
level good. So.
Yes, Michael Martin. Okay.
He works his lot.
And this lady here. Check this out.
Well, I had to put a pretty girl in there, right, carrying
Yes.
some ducks, and if you look, that model duck is banded, so it's pretty
yeah.
cool. You talk about sportsmen doing conservation work. I know on the fishery side, there's always tagging programs and studies and stuff. That duck was banded a couple years earlier, and I missed it by one night. I was on a banding trip with FWC and missed it by one night, banding the duck that we shot a couple
Okay.
years later. So anyway, I just think that's great. Her smile, she's thrilled. She had a great morning, and
It speaks volumes when you see that smile and all. Now, okay, let's go back to fishing. I love this picture.
yeah, that actually turned out to be a big old redfish.
And Look at the bottom right hand corner. See the swirls right
That was a
there?
big old redfish. Yeah, he surprised us that morning on a top water plug.
That is cool. Okay, let's see.
I think that might be all of it we
that's
sent.
Wow, I mean, that captures some great things that y'all do in outdoor stuff and all. Do you, in Tallahassee, do you get to spend much time on Lake Jackson or anywhere like that, or you stay busy all the time?
I'm usually busy all the time. We do get out every once in a while, but a lot of the times when I'm fishing, I'm on a trip doing something else, and I manage to squeeze it in. So that's one of the really fun parts about my job.
That is great.
And the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to get to go fish with my dad. He lives in Maryland, that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And so, 2 years ago, we did a big trip, and we went to Panama and fish. That's his thing now.
Wow.
He goes every year, and I got to be his guest.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. It was incredible.
That's so cool. So next time y'all go, send us some pictures, because now we're bonded now, and we're bonded with the audience. They know who you are, and we're talking about these kind of things. Here's a spokesman for them. So we're just typical about that, and you send us some pictures off every now and then.
Oh, absolutely.
Too. But I know y'all don't know about amendment. What's our biggest challenge? I feel like it's going to pass now. What's the biggest challenge in getting the word out to everybody? Just letting everybody know about it, because a lot of people don't know what's on it.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? It's April now, and the election's in November.
So many people don't know what's on the ballot.
Right.
And so many people, the biggest worry you always have with stuff you care about is apathy, that people think, oh, this is going to pass, no problem.
I know.
And then they don't show up to vote for it. We actually have data that almost 1 million hunters and anglers, licensed holders, didn't show up and vote in the last 3 elections combined. So there's a lot of us out there. This is a thing that we should care about a lot. Like, this is a reason. Set everything else politically aside. This is a reason to go to the polls that day, is to protect this thing for forever.
And don't we talk about this on a regular basis about the power of the outdoorsman? We have to get to the ballots and vote, and you have to elect our elected officials. They need to be outdoorsmen. If they're not outdoorsmen, they need to be conservationists. Both, if possible. Let's take our last break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm so glad to have Martha and Travis with us. This has just been really special to me. We got our last segment here, so let's do the fishing game times, and we'll get started back with them. It's always brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe, good supporters of Panhandle Outdoors since we started 19 years ago, so we appreciate the folks at Blue Water. Our time is 7:25 to 9:25 this morning, and this evening from 7:47 to 9:47. Now, Martha, you were talking about one of the big things y'all put on is ICAST, okay? So tell us about this. You actually pulled it up real quick. We're going to show it while you tell us about it.
Yeah, ICAST is the world's largest sport fishing trade show. So it is only open to people that work in the industry, but we hold it in Florida. We've done that every year for the past several years, and the reason for that is because Florida is such an important part of the sport fishing industry. There's so many of us that are based here. We estimate that about of our members, about 25% of all their business gets done in Florida, because Florida is such an important part of our culture. Again, it's such an important part of our economy, and so it brings together all the people in the recreational and the sport fishing trade. Buyers are buying what they're going to sell for the next year, checking out their inventory, learning about all the new products that are out there.
This is exciting.
It is so exciting.
Remember, for years I've gone to it. I brought back like 2 days worth of video and of the new products, the inventions they make, and the interviews I've done with with fish strips, fish bites and things. There's so many people down there. What I loved about was the innovative part, where people, every year you think everything's been thought about, and then here's this guy, lady, they thought about this, and I've just made them a promise. We're going back this year. You hear that, Gail? We're going back this year. I promise you, we're going to get down there, and love to see y'all. But I know it's an exciting time. Yeah,
well, we're excited to have you. Yeah. It is for me. It's almost like a big party, because I'm working, but everybody that I know that I'm working with all the time, they are there, and so it's just so great to see everybody and catch up and talk about all the things that.
It's called right here, the Super Bowl of fishing tackle.
It is.
And, it's huge. So looking forward to that, and thank y'all for doing that. I mean, it's awesome. Now you'll be there too, right?
And you'll have to come by the All Florida booth. We'll have a booth in Conservation Corner. There's always something ASA does. They always make sure that the conservation groups have space on the floor. And so you got to come by over there and see us. And
I promise you, I'll be by. Speaking of our biggest, like I said, our biggest challenge is letting people know about it and everything. And the hunters and fishermen, we were good about that. But we, like I say, tell our cousin Joe and Aunt Susie and all that, that it's on about it. Sometimes people just, going to vote for a couple things and get out of the booth or whatever. But make sure we vote for it. I'm going to definitely talk about it between now and November. We'll definitely talk about it. Getting back to the things you get to do in Central Florida, that's a lot like the Florida Panhandle because so many, even though you got Disney and all that, you still have a lot of places you can still fish because of preservation, y'all been able to preserve it.
Done a lot of land conservation work there, and you see the ranches. We do a lot with working lands, and there's always pressures for growth, right? Just like you see here. I mean, yes, I don't recognize this place. I'm not up here a lot, so when I come, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
It's the same there, but still lots of places, and it's special because you can still, there's so many lakes, there's so many rivers, there's so many places you can get out, catch some bluegill after work, or catfish or whatever, or you can go shoot ducks on public water, and then, if you're lucky, you can find a leaseholder or an operation like ours will let you get onto some private land and be able to hunt and enjoy that too.
And you mentioned something earlier about the wildlife corridor.
Yes,
how
sir.
important that is. And we've made some steps toward improving it and making it visible and let people know about it, but it's been tough.
It's one of, you look at like land conservation, if you take care of the land, you take care of the water. Mm-hmm. And if we don't have clean water, we don't have fish to catch. Exactly. Like it's all connected together, which is why I tell people this hunting and fishing amendment is really a conservation deal.
Exactly.
That's all it is a conservation amendment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And is that not addressing what we talk about on a regular basis? I know you heard me say it over and over again. I mentioned it 3 times on the show already about taking care of it. And I guess when y'all go out in the woods and all in the water, you get a special feeling about thankfulness and gratefulness and just, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah.
Peaceful feeling.
Exactly, that peace, that time for reflection. It's just, sometimes it's, you get out there and you don't know how much you needed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Real quick, I would just change channels. Okay, you're in Tallahassee. You're busy lobbying and all that. What's your biggest challenge in Tallahassee?
Oh gosh, a lot of times it's access to fishing. So there's, I work at all levels of government, so not just Tallahassee state government stuff. Yeah. We have a lot of challenges on the federal level right now. And I work from Texas to North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
So one of the big federal issues that we've been struggling with is South Atlantic red snapper. It's kind of like how it was over here, where we've got all these fish, and they're at the point where last year they had a 2-day season. Yeah. This year we don't know what that season's going to be, but we got a whole lot of fish out there. And so how do you figure out some of these management quandaries?
Okay. Okay, we're about to run out of time. Travis, 30 seconds. What's your biggest challenge?
Access, getting people opportunity to get outdoors.
Okay.
Which is again why this is so important. We want people to be able to go fish, hunt, and give them that opportunity.
We don't have time. I want to talk about boat ramps. Are all the boat ramps down there, you got to pay for boat ramps down there for launching, or
depends on the county, how it was funded, et cetera.
That's a sore issue here. So far in Bay County we've kept it out, but our friends in Gulf County we haven't paid.
Right.
And Franklin County. Got to wrap it up. Thank y'all so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
This is really special. What a special show. And
it's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun. Thank y'all for coming over.
No, we appreciate it.
And we're going to stay in touch now, I promise.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Let's take care of our outdoors. You know how important that is. Y'all do something good today for someone else, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.